Welcome to the part 2 of loops. So in this video, I'm going to discover a new way of dealing and using loops, which is very, very interesting. But as usual, before we start, don't forget to join our free and weekly newsletter. So if you have done that, then it's good. If you haven't done that, please go do it now, because you are going to get a lot of benefits that will help you on your development journey. So always the link is in the description down below. So we are here back in the presentation because we need to explain another type of loops, right? So this time we have our kids, but we, instead of having numbers, we have their names. So why not have the numbers? Because it's a new type of loops, and sometimes I prefer this one over all else, right? It's very, 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 very powerful. So that's why I told you I will make many videos to explain to you how loops work. So again, we have the average 3 chocolate bars, and here we have our robot. He gives chocolate to kids, like we saw the story in the part 1 of loops, right? So now we have a lot of things that have changed. All right, so the robot will start a loop, or it will start to loop over 3 children. Now I didn't say 3 times, I said 3 children, and give each kid 1 chocolate bar. So now we have the robot. This time we only ask one question, which is very, very simple, like how much kids we have. And I don't want to specify the number because this loop is a list-based group. It is a list-based loop, right? It counts on a list, as you can see on the top of the robot. So we are counting on a list. We are using a list to do the loop, and we only need one variable. Like, it's very simple. You only need one thing, which is the list, and the loop is going to be much smoother than the one we did before. Although the one we did before required us to have the index, and as I told you, sometimes you don't have the index, so this is a good alternative of that old kind of loop. But both of them work independently. Each one has its own scenario. So now the robot, here is the condition. Like, now the robot will loop as long as the list of children is greater than 0. So what do I mean by greater than 0? So it means that the number of children there. So the condition means that the robot will loop as long as the number of kids inside the list of children is greater than 0. It's 3, 2, 1, right? But once it gets to 0, then you are going to break the condition, which is logical. Like, when you have 0 children, why should you loop? Because there is nobody there, right? Let's see how it works now. So here we have the robot, and that is the initial list of kids that we have. Then, like, he has chosen to go with the first one. Like, you can go with the last one or the first one. They are the same, with a few differences, but I think that they are almost the same. Like, we decided to start with the first one. So the robot gave Mike, since he is the first one on the list, which is the most convenient way of doing this. So he started with Mike and he gave him his chocolate bar. Then what happens? Can you see the difference? Now, since we gave Mike his chocolate bar, why should we keep him in the list? So we got rid of Mike. And now, once we have done the operation, which is giving Mike his chocolate bar, we need to check if the condition is approved. So if the condition is approved, then we can do another loop. So what is the condition? Is the number of items, or the number of kids in the list, is greater than 0. Now, how many kids we have? We have only 2 left, and 2 is greater than 0. It's approved. Let's go ahead and do another loop. So here we have the 2 children. So Maria is the first one on the list. Let's give her the chocolate bar. And now, how much we have? We only have John, which is 1, right? And 1 is greater than 0. Approved. Let's do the last one. So now we only have John. So he is the first and the last in the list, right? So we give him his chocolate bar. Now, how much we have? We have nobody. So 0 is not greater than 0, because we have 0 children, and 0 is not greater than 0. The condition has been broken. So we don't loop anymore. The robot has given all chocolate bars to all kids using a simple loop. So this is called a list-based loop. I gave it this name. I don't know if it is the right name for it, but I just choose that to help you understand. It is a list-based loop. The first one was a numbers like based loop. It is counting on a number each time we decrement or increment that. But this one it's counting on a list. As I told you, this is my favorite. This is what I use most of the time. So now let's have a look at some takeaways from this presentation. So limit the loop again, but this time it's different. It's different actually. So the limit is the children list. We don't have like how many, like we don't have a number like 3. We have a list. That is the limit, right? So specify the child. This time with this loop, the child is either the last or the first one in the list, like the one we give. Like as you can see here, let's go back. So let's go back here. The one we give a chocolate bar is either the first one or the last one. So as you can see in the first loop, we give it to the first one. Again, in the second loop, we give it to the first one, right? So this is how we specify the child or the operation or the row, right? And the condition, this time the condition is as long as we have some children left in the list. So the condition is that it will say that, hey, do the loop as long as the number of kids is greater than 0. So what do we mean by the number of childs or children is greater than 0? We mean that we have some people there, right? Since it is greater than 0, we have either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a million. It's greater than 0. But when it is 0, then break out of the loop because there is nobody there anymore. So I hope you have enjoyed this presentation. Let's go ahead and get our hands dirty and start building this loop. So here we have our old project. So what to do now? So here is that, so we are going to just modify the other loop. So there is no need to actually do it again. So now there is something that we want to do here is that we still need to save some info, because saving the info, the condition, the operation, and the breaker are constant. You see them like in any kind of loop. So what should change is what's inside them, right? We don't want to delete them. We want to keep them, but we want to change what's inside them. So like, what should we do now? Like, as I told you here, before we needed the limit, but now what we need? We only need what? The list of products, the list of children, right? So yes, let's go ahead and change the state, remove that, and say list of products. And again, you might say, hey, why you use a stage? As I told you, if you're interested, comment down below. I will make that video for you. So states are a place where we can save some data locally and temporary, so we can use it. So as you have noticed previously, we used the limiter and the variable for just some time, just for the loop to work. We don't want to save them like forever. They are just for like as long as we need them, right? They are just there temporary. They won't stay there forever. Because if you just refresh the app, like if you close this page and then reopen that information will go, because it's just a state. So it just gives you a general idea of what states are. So it's a list of strings, because the number of all right, this time is going to be different. Here is why. Because back in the presentation, how we used to know the kids is that we had Mike, Maria, John. So we knew them by what? By their names. Here we have a products and we have a project and a products, right? So we cannot know them by the name, because 2 products can have the same name. So how can we separate them? Like, we can use the IDs. So because each product, each row has its specific ID, it's a special ID. So we use that to find which product we want to change. And the example of kids was just to give you an idea. So again, so let's just keep this one and say list of, well, let's say go for products IDs. It's a list of strings, of integers, because IDs are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 million, 2 million. It's just a number. It's an integer, right? So of course we are going to have some errors. No problem. We are going to go with one after the other. So here, what we do? So I'm going to say the info. So the only info we need is what? So can you tell me what that is? The only info we need is the list of IDs, like we have, like here it is. Let me just show it to you so I can make it easier for you to understand me. And here, let's go to the table editor, and then we want to go to products. So instead of going with the list of the names, as I told you, because two products can have the same name, like who knows? But the IDs are always special. That's why they're called ID. That's why they are the primary key. You cannot find two rows with the same ID. Even if you try to do so in Supabase, it will reject that because it does not understand how two rows can have the same ID. So this one is special. So we are going to extract them. So we are going to have a list of 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, right? And it works as long, like, no matter how big your database or how much products you have, it works anywhere, right? So set the value of what? So we are going to click here again. This time we are going to map and steal what? The ID. So here we have a list of IDs, as you can see. We have stolen them, right? So we saved the info. Now for the condition, we said that as long as the number here is greater than 0, like we have some products, we have a list and the numbers is 3, 5, like it has to be greater than 0, because when it gets to 0, why do a loop? Because like there is nothing there. Who you are going to give a chocolate to? Nothing, because there is nothing there. So how to do that? So we click here, and then we choose the stage, which was products, and we want to go what? With the number of items here, like how much we have in this particular stage. It has to be what? Greater than 0. Remove it, type 0, right? We've done the second step. Now it's time for what here? So it's time for what? It's time for the operation, which was like contained in these two actions. So now we wanted to read the product, like we used the index. Now we are going to use what? What, please? Can you pause the video and tell me what we should use? So be interactive a little bit, please. So we want to actually, yes, you pause the video. Yes, you had to do that. So so before we use the index, because we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say you don't have an index, then the ID is the only thing you can do. And why should you use an ID? Because here we save the ID. Like we have a list of IDs. We are going to read the first one. As I told you, you can read the first one or the last one. It's the same. So the ID has to be equal to the first one that was saved here. Item at index first one. So yes, we still have the action output. Here we want to update the price. Again, like the same one we have, like the same filter we applied when we were reading the product, we have to be applied here when updating the product. So again, ID equal to the first one, right? So here, nothing has changed because yes, we don't have an error. But here is going to be the change. Like like here, we cannot decrement it. So what have you noticed from the example of robot? Like when he gives a chocolate, he removes that one. So which one we have started with here? We have started with the first one. So the first one, we have read that, we have updated it, we finished so we have to get rid of that, right? Get rid of it, right? So here we say, what we say? So we say remove from list at index. We say 0. So which means the first. But what if you went with the last one? Like you wanted to start from the last one. You can simply just, like, if you start with the last one, you can specify that. You can just say remove from list and specify that last one. Like you click here, for example, item at index last. Or we can just say first. Yes, this is what we did. So first is going to be equal to 0, right? So because here we have read the one in the first place, we have updated the same one in the first place. So yes, let's get rid of that. So let's say we had 5 products here. So 5 is greater than 0, approved, read the product, update the price, then get rid of the first one. Now, how much will you have? So how much IDs you are going to have? It's 4. Approve it. Dun, dun, dun. It will be what now? When you get rid of that, you only have 3. Approve it. You will have, then when you get rid of that, you will have 2. Approve it. You will get rid of that. You will have only 1. Approve it. When you do that, you will get rid of that last one. You will have 0, not approved. Break it and get there. Good. I hope you feel good about it. Let's go ahead and try it out. So while the test is running, so if you enjoy this video and if you like this kind of content, then you are going to love what I am going to create next. So I will notify you once I have prepared a plan for some very good playlists that will come in the future. So if you are interested, I will notify you if you join my newsletter. So if you have done that, so then it's good. If you haven't done that, so go do it now, because I can notify you for anything that I can do or that I plan to do before I do it, right? So let's get back to the test. So here we have the test. Now it's finished. Let's actually add a price, like maybe 2. Let's add 5. See, it works just like how it worked before, like one after the other. We start from the first one to the last one. Yes, sorry about that. So yes, 10 10 10. So the loop is working fine. Like we learned now 2 types of loops, but for me, I still think that some of you might not have grasped the idea clearly, or the way, or at least in the way I want you to understand, because it's very important. That's why I plan to find some weird loop scenarios and make a video about them. Like we might want to just keep this project, like with this products and stuff like that. I just want to make it a bit complicated and try to solve it with a loop. Like to be honest with you, you can summarize the loop in 4 parts. Like the first one, which is outside the loop, where you save some information and use that information in the condition. We have done that. And after the condition, you set the operation. It's going to be 2 actions, 1 action, a conditional action. It's going to be a loop. So I will show you right now. I have a loop inside a loop. So I will show it to you. It's a bit scary, don't worry. So, and after that, you break it. You just, so when you break, what do I mean? So when you break, like if you have, like the condition that we had now. So let's actually go back to it. Let's just remind you of that. Maybe you've forgotten that. Who knows? So here was that the number of items is greater than 0. Or okay, but here, how to get this close to 0? Is by removing 1. Like if you have 5 here, each time you remove 1, you are going to get the number here close to 0. If you have 5, you remove 1, you make it 4, it's getting closer. When you remove another one, you make it 3, you get it even closer. And you do that until you get it to 0 to break the condition. All right, so I think that it's time for us to go and actually show you the loop that is inside the loop. So it's from my app Commitment. So again, this app you might find on the App Store or the Play Store right now. You can go try it. It's a habit tracking app. It's a very cool app and it's free for now. So go ahead, use it and give me your feedback. It will help me a lot. So here we have a component, like it's to create new days. Here it is, as you can see. So here we have, like, this is the loop, the first one. And this is another loop inside it. I don't want to show you everything in the app. Maybe I will show it to you later, but this is how it is, right? So I hope you have enjoyed this video. I really do hope you have enjoyed this, really. And as I told you, prepare for more and more content. And I will always notify you on my newsletter if you have a member. If you are a member, then I will notify you surely for everything that I plan to do, so you'll be the first one to know everything. Again, if you want to join the newsletter, the link is going to be in the description below. And again, if you have any doubts or any like problems you are facing, I can help you with that. Comment down below and I will do my best to make a video just for you. Thank you, my beloved friends, so much for watching. I have enjoyed this video. I have enjoyed this time that I spent with you, and I am so excited and I'm so looking forward to meet you on the next video.